What do YouTube? This your boy Chevy Speech. Right now I want to talk to you guys about Vixen. Yeah, that's right. This is the new animated series by the same producers, I believe, of Flash, Arrow, things of that nature. And it was a pretty good show, you know. It really gave me a lot of nostalgic feelings because it reminded me of Static Shock, the animation of it. It really did. And but anyway, the story of Vixen follows Mari McCabe, who happens to be destined with this Atantu totem descended upon her from her ancient African family. And what we learn is she's an orphan. You know, she never knew, she had no sense of identity. So in the first half of the episode, in the first episode of the episode, you see her trying to desperately search for who she is and what she stands for, only to come to find out that, well, you know, her sister delusionally believed that she was in fact the bearer of the totem, and turns out, of course, as we all come to find out, Mari actually is, you know, because as we all learn, in the village when she was just a little baby, her mother actually died saving her, after a corrupt ambassador comes in and tries to wipe out the entire land and actually get the totem, one of the 5 ancient totems. The other four being the 4 elements: air, water, earth, and fire. The other one being spirit. The spirit one is the one that Mari possesses. But anyway, you know, throughout the episode, she tries to search for herself, and we actually see. This episode actually starts off with her running from the Flash and the Green Arrow. And I have to say, I love how, from the sounds of it, it sounds like Carlos Valdez is the voice of the animated voice of Cisco, Ramon, and Stephen Amell is actually the voice of the Queen the Green Arrow. And it sounds like Grant Gustin is the Flash as well. I'm not sure. But it was really cool to see, you know, those actors portray their characters, if that's the case. But, you know, it was also really cool to see how another family took her in, you know, raised her as her own. Her father's name is Chuck. You know, he wanted her to go into fashion design, stay that way, because he realized that it was a little too dangerous for her to be a superhero and things of that nature. And I love how witty Mari is. You know, I love her personality. It's really cool. Also, you know, it looks like she went to a professor by the name of Professor Lancaster. And, you know, he was on an expedition to Africa to find, you guessed it, all the rest of the 4 of the totems, you know, and he only found one which exhibited fire, you know, which is the evil villain, the big bad Eshu actually ended up acquiring and actually reigning terror in Detroit. And the funny thing, speaking of big bads, her sister actually kidnaps her, takes her to Africa so that she can actually get the spirit totem. And I find that really funny because throughout the entire episode, she was constantly being a mixed character, in my opinion, where we hated her, but then we started to love her, and then we hated her, and then we loved her again. You know, her sister actually ends up perishing after being turned into steam after getting the water totem with Mari's help, actually tricking her. And she said, "I'm not going to run." During the big fight with Eshu, she says, "I'm not going to be like her mother, I'm not going to run." And she ends up getting turned to steam. It's only until Mari actually drowns Eshu that she actually defeats him. And then also, you know, it was really nice to see how Mari would really wanted to master her craft. You know, she wanted to get a better understanding of animals, preferably the gorilla. Because, you know, the totem actually manifests whatever the creator thinks of. So she had to tap into that raw talent, as Dr. Vargas told her. You have to tap into the raw emotions of the animal that you want to possess. So it was in that she learned how to be Vixen, you know, to control her power. So I can't wait to see this series. You know, there was another one as well that was actually pretty good by the name of Freedom Fighters: The Ray. The first openly gay superhero on Earth X, with the X version of our biggest superhero, the Flash, the Arrow, things of that nature.